And one DVL from November 1 Whiskey Charlie Whiskey. And one DVL, and one DVL from November 1 Whiskey Charlie Whiskey. N1 DVL, N1 DVL from N1 WCW. Tom, pinch that loaf. Let's go. N1WCW.
What did he say?
What? What's up, Mark?
Let's try to keep it clean here. This is a respectful group.
What? You gotta be kidding me.
No kids, no lids, no space cadets, no Johnny-come-latelys or school bus drivers.
Oh, my gosh. What's the good word for the day?
I'm still breathing.
I figured if you tuned up your radio.
We're just waiting for the bad weather to come tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. No, it's on its way. Now, I was just sitting down here doing some reading. I called the King on the Hill and got no response.
The King on the Hill?
Yeah, the King on the Hill.
We're Americans. We ain't got no king.
Well, Obama was the Lion King.
The Lion King. I like it.
No, that's what Ray calls himself, the King.
Oh, Ray calls himself the King, huh? Does he have sideburns?
Yeah, how ordained, huh?
No, I call him His Grace.
Well, if that didn't get him out here.
I'm not quite sure if he's of the caliber for king. He's more of, of the priestly order.
All right.
So, anyway, I don't really have a whole lot on my mind right now. It was a somewhat eventful day, but nothing to write home about.
Oh, yeah. No, I had about the same day, so must be going around.
Well, everybody's getting that newest little thing that's infecting everybody.
Oh, you mean sickly?
Yeah.
No, I'm not sickly. I've just got a whole bunch going on, and just one of those days, you know.
Can't wait till it's the weekend, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I was fooling around with the beverage a little bit more last night, and I really think I'm tweaking this thing in.
Well, good. Then maybe you wake that 2000 up.
Well, I am hearing you tonight a bit better than I was at this time last night, and that's because I've got cloud cover.
Oh, my God. That could change from day to day.
Well, it could, but I have noticed that on cloud cover days, both 160 and 60 meters act a little bit differently.
Oh, yeah?
No, please. Go ahead.
I don't know. I noticed it goes from day to day. I mean,
me and climate change with
if
radio,
I had to depend on things weather-wise, I really wouldn't consistently say that it's there.
Oh, yes, go ahead, be a climate denier, but me and climate change as far as radio is concerned, I'm a believer.
Oh, yeah, that's why it was 26 degrees the other day. In spring. And these climate change deniers can't even admit that the Earth is actually spewing its guts from the middle and heating up the ocean.
You know, if you just go down below the soil, a couple hundred thousand feet, it's millions of degrees.
Oh, yeah?
That's what Al said.
Yeah, Al said Florida should have been underwater 4 years ago, too.
Yeah, I love when he takes you down to show you certain parts of Florida that are like levels up even with the street. They never happened to tell you what time that they went down to take that footage. It was like right before a hurricane or after one, or you know, before a storm or right after a torrential rainstorm, whatever. And the streets are all flooded, and you know, you look at the people in the background that are, you know, supposed to be, you know, everybody's going about their daily normal life like this isn't Venice.
Yeah. Well, I think we can do better, I guess. And some of the pollution aspects of it, but yeah, they're making big money off of it. And you know, gosh darn, the people pushing it are got the ins and the outs. I guarantee it, the ins and the outs of what industries are going to be making the money off of it when they fascistly force everybody to do something different.
We've got to get into the climate industry.
I ain't doing none of that. They come to my house and fascistly tell me what I got to do, then it might be some issues.
Oh, don't you worry about it. They got lots of body bags ready.
That's fine. They've been stacking them up.
There are going to be a lot of people that are going to go out like that.
Yeah, there'll probably be a lot of politicians that go like that, too, especially when they start going against them rednecks down south. They always told me the South was going to rise again, come on.
The only thing that's going to rise in the South is the temperature of the ovens for the bodies.
Oh, my gosh. Do you realize how much ammunition is down south?
You only have to shoot them once.
Politicians?
No, the people with all the guns. You only have to shoot them once, and then look at all that ammo that's just sitting there waiting for you. I love these guys. They got their whole basement loaded up. They're ready to go to war with Korea themselves. And, you know, one little bad toe infection kills them, and then there it all sits.
Oh, yeah.
We all think we're masters of our domain and we're in charge of ourselves, and it's the biggest joke there is.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't taking I'm going to pry it out of my cold, dead hand. That's all. That's fine. You want to go like that? That's fine.
No, I can guarantee you it's going to be a Democratic liberal.
Liberal, Republican, conservative, Democrat, whatever. They all die the same way.
Yeah, well, just look at who's pushing for it. That's a big difference. There's a big discrepancy between all those groups you just named.
Yes, I know, and they're all fighting amongst themselves, and none of them are paying attention to the one in the background having a field day with it.
The man behind the curtain.
Oh, yeah. He's got them all. They're also worried about which shrubbery or tree is in front of them that they can't see the forest they're in. Hooray for my side as they wave a flag.
Well, I didn't come down here to talk politicking.
I'm talking politics.
I think the Democrats made a full-blown circus of our Senate today.
Just today?
Anyways, I hear a tune-upper. Who's the tuner-upper? November 1 Whiskey, Charlie Whiskey. Before I fall out of my chair and fall asleep.
He's got to finish tuning first.
Oh, he didn't give it up?
No, he's still tuning. See, my 2000 can hear.
I got one of them dead sleds sitting right in front of me.
You need a kid with 2000 and got no receipt. You need to go out and buy a $7,000 radio like mine. Whatever.
I don't have one.
I'm going to rush right out and get a Kenwood 890 like Ray says so. I really would like to, though.
Yeah, they're pretty nifty. I sat in front of his. It's nice.
I tried to get him to go halfsies with me on getting one, but, well, you know.
No, I know. Yeah, he's cheap like that.
Well, he's not the most generous folk.
No, I know. I live real close to him, Mark.
Cents, however.
I live real close to him, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I just reiterated that from last night. I just wanted to make sure you understood that. So maybe you might feel sorry for me.
Is it close enough to see the spotlights?
Yeah, if there's no little knoll in the way, yeah.
But, I mean, you got a good view when they come to abduct him?
Oh, yeah, that I would see. I'd see the lights.
I would pay $200 to see video of Ray being abducted.
I know, and his little tinfoil hat on.
All limp, you know, his arms and his legs back as his center is pulled up by the light.
With his 450 unloaded, his Marlin 450.
You'll never take me alive!
Yeah, I ain't got no shell, but I'm gonna shoot you anyways. Man, if that didn't dig him out, I don't know what will.
I love Ray. He's great.
He's out of his
my
mind.
Day every day.
He's out of his mind.
KC1RS.
Hey, Russ.
Good morning. Finally, an adult in the room.
Oh, boy, now we got to behave. We've been trying to dig Ray out for about 15 minutes, and it hasn't worked.
Well, you got to check the TV listings if there's any UFO or ancient mystery shows on. You're going to have to wait.
Yeah, but that would require reading.
Oh, my. Is he an official subscribing member of Ancient Aliens?
Somebody's tuning up. I don't know if it's him.
Nah, it's not him. He peckers.
Easy. This is a family channel.
It was not meant in a sexual way, but that's obviously the way you wanted to steer it.
Not everybody who listens here knows what a pecker does.
Well, it's time to get a hold of the new generation of world.
10-3 RMR.
November 1 Whiskey Charlie Whiskey. And how's Russ today?
KC1RS. I'm doing all right. I was just outside raising my air conditioning unit.
Raising it?
Yeah, the pad that it was sitting on got lopsided and sunk down into the mud next to the house a little bit because of all the rain. So I raised it up, and I rigged up a jig with some old pallets, and I raised it up, and then I got some paving, some paver base and some sand, and I built up a little mesa, leveled it all up, put the pad back out there on the new packed up stuff, and dropped it back down. Didn't have to disconnect anything on it. It was a lot of finesse, but it looks a lot better, and I'm happy.
You didn't lose any seals on the lines, did you?
Nope. No, it was very light work. I lifted it straight up vertically, only about 3 inches, and everything, because it was already there to begin with, and then it sunk down, so all those lines actually had more strain on them before. Now they're happy.
Yeah, good, boy. I'll tell you, if that goes down in the mud like that and that gets all gooped up full of crap, oh, man.
Yeah, I've been staring at it for a couple of years, and it's just been getting worse and worse. So I said, I'm done. I'm going after it.
It's the little things. The little things you don't always pay attention to. Those are the ones that always do you in.
Yeah, you let something like that, you neglect something like that, and then next thing you know, that unit's sitting in an inch of water down in a little basin with a bunch of mud, and next thing you know, everything's rotting out on it, and that's a bad thing. You gotta keep that thing dry.
Yeah, I know. You see what the prices of those units are lately? Oh, God.
I had to buy a unit down in Florida, a 3-tonner, but it was a contained unit. It wasn't a split unit. It was all in an all-in-one, and it cost me about $8,000.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but that's like us spending
Hey, $8,000 is $8,000. I don't care what you do with it. You could be doing something a lot better than spending $8,000 on an AC unit.
Putting it in the bank.
We're getting a nice 890.
Oh, gosh.
Maybe get 2 of them.
Well, if you say 890 3 times, I think Ray will show up.
Yeah, but you have to do it with a candle in the mirror. Backwards.
Just backwards?
You gotta go 098, 098, 098.
Actually, I think if you're going to want and love one of those things, you probably do need a mirror and maybe a razor blade and some other stuff to make you happy about your decision.
Oh, obviously not a Kenwood person.
Actually don't have a strong bias against those 2000s. One of my close friends down in Florida had a 2000, and I helped him get that thing set up, and I got some antennas in the air for him because he was a fairly new ham. And once you figure out where they bury everything in that menu system, they're not all that hard to set up.
No, I actually love this little radio. It's very easy to use. And I've heard that same complaint from a lot of people. They're all like, oh, that's all those menus and menus and menus. I can't understand that. It's crazy. And I'm like, dude, it's like the simplest radio I've ever owned.
Yeah, you're lucky if it takes you a day and a half to run it.
Yeah, it's like the I like buttons, people. And, as far as I think you need like a good mix of buttons and on-screen mechanisms. The stuff that you're hitting on the screen, you're not changing it all that much anyway. So, you make a few settings changes and you never touch them again. You don't need a button for that.
Right. I'll tell you, Mark, the only thing I don't know how to run or what the functions are is the purple highlighted buttons. That's it.
The purple highlighted buttons.
It says satellite on it, M/S, Rev. Obviously, one of them's a VFO channel. I know how to do that. And then the other one says trace.
Well, Dennis, be careful. I think those are against the law in Pennsylvania. The ones they sell in PA, I don't think they have the purple buttons, so be careful.
Okay. Good thing I don't live in Pennsylvania.
You push them 3 times and it pops out a Prilosec. No, I've actually used 2 of the purple buttons when I was doing some satellite work with the 2000, and it's for satellite stuff, and it's not all that complicated. It really isn't.
I didn't say it was. I'm just not a satellite guy.
Yeah, I tried it once or twice, and I got frustrated with it. I actually did make a contact on a satellite with it. I have a pair of egg beater antennas for 2 meters and 440, and I used it, and you really have to be dedicated to that cause.
Okay, well, yeah, it was like, what was it, Packet. Yeah, I did that for about a week.
Yeah, you just gotta have to be sort of like the right mindset. It's kind of a phase thing. I just wanted to say I could at least do it, and I did it, and it was interesting. But the birds that I was trying to use are passing so fast that you got to be right on your game, and then you got to have your Doppler shift, and you got to follow them, and there's a lot of nitpickety stuff going on. It's not like the old satellites where you actually get like 20 minutes or whatever to use them. These suckers flying by are these Chinese little sats, and you get maybe a minute and a half to 2 minute pass, and most of that the signal's not strong enough. You got to be like right there on it. I think they're moving at 17,000 miles an hour. You can hear them coming, and you can hear them going.
With a little bit of Doppler shift.
A lot of Doppler shift. It's crazy how fast it moves.
Yeah, I've had a guy demonstrate it to me. He had all these different antennas and rotors, and it shifted up and shifted down and shifted to the right, and I was like, yeah, that's nice, man.
Oh, yeah, it's not like sitting here chewing the rag on 160. No, it's a whole different game. You got to be on your A game.
AYA.
Hey, how nice. I'm glad you were some coffee. I was going to talk to you guys about some nutrition.
Try it again. You were good there for a minute, and then I lost you. You want to try something? Russ, you got him?
No, he's in my noise. He's got to get back in there.
All right, try it again. AYA, go ahead. Try it again. Just moving around a little bit.
Okay, well, here we go one more time. There's a preservative called sodium benzoate, and when it contacts vitamin C in your body, it turns into benzene. So if you do a search on it, you can say sodium benzoate plus vitamin C
Plus what? Cancer? So sodium benzoyl? I don't know how to say that word, I guess. Contacts vitamin C equals cancer.
Benzoate.
Okay.
It's a preservative.
Okay. Yeah, that's too big of a word. That's just, that's above my intelligent level.
It's on the side of just about every soda can that you can buy there, Dennis.
Okay, well, that's good, because I don't drink soda and I drink water.
Well, that's good. Oh, yes, since I am the official nutritionist of the Turd Harbor Net, here's today's Turd Harbor health thing that you might or might not have known.
Okay, let's do it. N1WCW, I missed 40.
Yes, N3 or more. I'm going to make Ray so jealous. Anyway, you had mentioned soda, and in a lot of colas, well, practically all sodas for that matter, the stuff that makes it zingy and peppy and zippy, other than the carbonation, which in the water, which they add to it, but that's not the bad stuff. The worst thing in soda is not sugar, it's the sodium phosphate.
Well, then you better get down to New York City, and you better go plead your case to that whack job frickin' Blumenthal.
Yes, excuse me, I made a misnomer there. I got sodium on the brain. It's phosphoric acid, that is correct. Now, phosphoric acid just so happens to have the same pH as sulfuric acid.
And they allow it to happen.
And we all know where sulfuric acid's at, right? Your car battery? Now, would you drink the electrolyte in your car battery?
No, but why would the FDA allow it? The government is poisoning us? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no. Calm down. Don't get excited and ready to start a revolt yet. The amount that they put in the amount of soda is very small. However, it is enough. It is enough to acidify your blood, along with the sugar content, which doesn't help. But it acidifies your blood for those that drink a lot of soda, and your blood has to neutralize that acid content in your blood, or you become too acidic. And the way that it does that is by robbing calcium from you. And I'm sure you know where the calcium comes from.
Your bones, baby. I just can't believe that it's okay for so many parts per million.
Well, yes. But for those of that just love to suck on sodas, and we see them at the discount marts loading those carts full of diet sodas, right?
So when they tell us that they want to pass a bill, because our kids are too gosh darn fat and we can't have big sodas. Oh my gosh, they're lying. They're lying to us. They're hypocrites. They're poisoning us.
Well, yes, they are poisoning us, but that's just one of many ways. So I'm not saying not to drink soda. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying moderation. Maybe a can of soda a day with your lunch is not going to hurt you. But for those that like to do, 3 or 4 six-packs a day, or, 3 or 4 of those big 2-liter bottles a day,
that's crazy, Mark. I might drink like 2 sodas a day, but my wife probably drinks 9 or 10. I need to. She's working now, but next time you're on, I'm gonna come in here and sit. I'm gonna have you give her the spiel because she won't listen to me. Of course, she tunes me out for 97% of the rest of everything else, too, but she might listen to you. You sound sincere.
Well, really, I'm not, but but no, I'm being very serious here, and I'm not going to harp on this too long because it's just the health thing of the day, especially in women that are middle-aged or heading older, and they already have issues with calcium because of the hormone balance and blah, 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 all the female stuff. So for girls that drink a lot of sodas with high phosphoric acid content, i.e. Coke and Pepsi, which also have a lot of caffeine and make them very addictive, probably not a good idea.
Aspartame.
So she's got thyroid, an underactive thyroid. You got what kind of advice do you have for that?
Oh, yeah. Well, oh, man. Now you're going into a file I haven't used in a while. I will get back to you on that. I got to check with Dad. He's got some interesting answers to that problem, but I have to get from him a little bit later on. So I will have the information for you tomorrow.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, she's going through the change, and she's been just dragging, and she was, it's that change of life business is tough on them. They do a lot of sobbing. Believe me, the simplest things make them cry for whatever. I just hide in here and hope that I can avoid ever triggering it.
Well, yeah. Okay, I had a flash. You come back. I had to get the keys to open that filing cabinet. It's been closed so long. She needs some more iodine. And she needs iodine in a soluble form that's ionic iodine. She needs to eat it in a food. She can't take a tablet for it. And the stuff you get in your salt you can't use either. There's another whole spiel why, but I'm not going to get into that. Iodine, and she needs a little bit of help with her estrogen because when you're going through the change like that, your estrogen levels start bottoming out, and you spike a lot up and down because the hormones are getting, parts aren't working right. So check into help with the estrogen level. There's natural ways to do that. You can just go online, natural ways to help with change of life, menopause, and she needs iodine.
Yeah, I'll try to figure out some way of, because I'd rather have her do it naturally and softly than to, because who knows what the pharmaceutical companies are throwing into people nowadays is scary. I don't take any medication stronger than like ibuprofen. And even that I'm supplanting with turmeric and curcumin and stuff. So I just don't trust any of that business. As soon as you hit 50, they want to load you up with like 15 different kinds of medicine, and they don't sit you down and tell you how to eat right and exercise. So I don't get doctors, but they don't get me either, and they don't have time to form a conversation with you. So how they ever going to figure out what's going on with you, right? So, I mean, oh well, they ain't built like they used to be. So KC1RS.
Doctors do not get paid by healthy people. They get paid by sick people. So it does not behoove them to heal them, or they would have no business.
Well said.
So it's sort of a conflict of interest there. And if that weren't bad enough, then you have the pharmaceutical companies that are right behind them with their hands on their shoulders, pumping all these drugs into the public because it makes millions of dollars. It's all about the money, brother. Follow the money tree, and the truth shall set you free.
It's about the cheese.
Or as that girl from Minnesota says, it's all about the Benjamins.
Mm-hmm.
And the U.S. is responsible for what's happening in Venezuela.
Oh, really? How?
Well, you'd have to ask her, because she's so important and Muslim-like.
When did we get a 51st date?
That's what she said today, my friend. Read it and weep.
We already have a state that's bad enough, and that's Puerto Rico.
Well, Obama said we had 53 states one time.
Well, he's probably thinking of his home country of, Kenya.
He told me if I liked my doctor, I could keep it too.
No, he did you a favor there.
No, he didn't.
He got rid of it for you.
No, he didn't. He charged me double for my insurance.
Well, then stop paying for it.
But you gotta have it up here, man. Otherwise, Obama penalized you.
He didn't penalize me.
Well, he penalized you because your premiums doubled.
I don't have insurance.
I don't know what to tell you then, man. It's a requirement up here.
Why would you pay a corporation for insurance money so that you can go to people that are over-drugging you and killing you slowly?
Don't take the drugs. But if you got a problem, you got to go. You got to go.
But their diagnosis isn't correct half the time.
No, that's for sure. Yeah, my premium doubled, bud. My premium doubled. Just so he could have some more voters.
Actually, that money went to pay all of the state employees, teachers' unions, and all those other people that are, working for the government.
Well, that's because Democrats like big government. They want every aspect of your life. But anyway, so let's not go political. I was going to health care, Tim.
It does always seem to be spinning back to the political, doesn't it?
A little bit. Well, that's because they weaponized every aspect of our lives trying to frickin' fascistly dictate what we're going to do. Right out of the Nazi handbook, the Democratic Party is.
Now, if only I could weaponize ham radio.
Oh, you did.
You
came out here and hit us with a TS-2000 with stainless steel.
Yes, I did, didn't I?
I'm being a character tonight. You'll have to forgive me. I'm extremely tired. I've been up since 1:38 this morning, and I rolled back in the house around 6:15. So this is my unwind time.
1:38 in the morning is not morning.
No, that's morning for me, my friend.
Why are you still conscious?
I don't know. I'm still young enough, Mark, to the point where I guess I can still do it a little bit.
Pretty soon you'll need drugs to do that.
No. I take an ibuprofen. That's it.
Ibuprofen's hard on your kidneys.
Well, I call it a leave, and that's all I take.
I'll leave it alone.
A leave, and I think I have a cholesterol pill and blood pressure. Other than that, that's it.
Oh, the myth of cholesterol.
What's that? Oh, the myth? It's a myth? I don't know. Everything went down.
And I'll leave it alone.
He's a poet, isn't he, Russ?
I like Mark. I'm glad that he I'm glad that he found us.
Well, that's because they kicked him off everywhere else. That was the scuttlebutt, I heard.
Well, here's what I really think, now that I've been mulling this around for some time, being amongst people with some brain power and sense of humor. The other group that I joined because they tolerated me, they had zero sense of humor.
Oh, come on. We're all individuals. We're all have our own character flaws and everything like that. And if you can't be accommodating or at least deal with people like that, whether you agree with them or not, and you got issues, man, you either have ideological issues or you're a frickin' sociopath.
Well, it's funny you'd bring that up. Democrat people, liberal people, I don't want to say Democrats because they're liberal Republicans too, but liberal people, that group, that particular ideology, that group of people, seem to have zero tolerance for humor.
Oh, it's because they think they're so correct.
That's that and other reasons. Now, there's also been a scientific study done that people that lack a sense of humor are always, not just some of the times, always lower on their IQ scores.
And these are the people that are lawyers and judges and running our country?
Yes. Let's put the baboon in the zoo in charge.
Who was the weak one? I heard somebody way down in there.
full of shit.
Thank you. I agree 100%.
Yes, the convicts are running the prison.
I was thinking the insane asylum.
And it's to the point now where those of us that are, well, what used to be normal, are now locking ourselves in the cells to protect us from the guards.
Oh boy, we better watch out. We're starting to step into Ray territory there with the UFOs.
And that's another reason I think that the aliens have not taken over and invaded our planet completely, because they look at all the problems that's going on with the human species, and they're like, they're not even worthy of conquering yet. Let them fight it out amongst themselves. When they nuke each other, there's like, 5 guys left, we'll go down and abduct them.
Why would they go up against the insane asylums? That's what this is lately, nothing but a sane asylum.
I've been getting a lot of weak ones coming in here.
I'll stick my call in too, just in case I didn't already. WA2ES.
Good evening.
WA2ES. Doc.
Doc, now that's got to be some of the most mellow country music sound and audio I think I've ever experienced in my career as an amateur radio operator. Somebody just needs to give you a guitar and a picture.
Hey, Dennis.
Yes, sir.
You've seen 2001, The Space Odyssey?
Probably. I don't recall right now.
Mark, have you seen that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Hal?
Well, you guys know about those monuments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those were, that was his take on these von Neumann machines, these self-replicating automatons.
They were called monoliths.
Yeah, but they, so the theory was that if you, I don't know, back in the 60s, 50s and 60s, back when people were like, really knew how to do math, didn't push a lot of buttons, they promulgated that the fastest way to spread across the galaxy and explore it was to develop these self-replicating automatons, and that they could do it very rapidly versus, putting people in ships and sending them out. And that's what the monoliths were. And so the movie was basically our first encounter with these aliens being bouncing off of these monoliths, and then the monoliths finally call home, and they show up, and that's kind of the gist of it, right? It's more than just a cranky computer not letting them back in, right? But and it wouldn't be inconceivable that that's what's going on with some of these things that Ray, is being told or being seen in the sky.
Well, I think that your opinion about what that movie was about was a little skewed, but we're all entitled to our opinion.
That movie came out the year I was born. But I have seen it.
So you didn't know the backstory to that, Mark?
Well, I did not read the novel, but your particular version of what was going on there, I don't agree with, but it's not that I don't like you as a person, I just don't agree with that opinion.
Well, what specifically? Because I was saying a lot.
Well, the guy that Asimov, when he did all of that, you have to understand what kind of people they were, first of all. These are, what's the right term to use here without being offensive? These are globalist, scientists, I wouldn't say communist type people, but they're all about this, new scientific globalist ideology, new era stuff, and they got to get rid of God, because The whole concept of belief is a real problem for those that want ultimate authority. Now, you can get rid of God a lot of different ways, and you can see it going into society. I could enumerate them all night long for you, but I don't want to bore everybody to tears. But that's just one of the more creative versions of people stepping in with an explanation of why God doesn't exist. And they made it really frilly. They made it scientific. They made it very impressive. They made it very believable. They had top-notch actors, the directing, the people that so-called had the theory behind it, supposedly intelligent people of scientific note, and all of it. It had all the stuff that you needed to get people to buy a package that was an absolute flat lie. But it made for great science fiction movies. You got to get rid of your creator before you can take his place.
I'm totally lost. But Allah is good.
Yeah, you sound like one of those Easter worshipers.
Easter. Astarte. The gods of fertility, reproduction, sex, and all that good stuff.
I'm going to go in the closet over here, and I'm going to look at my Zeus.
Yeah, well, don't do anything that would be perverted while you're in there.
Now you heard on Easter all the progressive commie socialist peoples, they all tweeted, they all got their talking points from the DNC, and they all tweeted out about how they felt bad for the Easter worshippers in Sri Lanka.
Yes, all the quote-unquote Easter worshippers.
Yeah, it would it would kill them to say Christian, because they don't want to put it out there that Christians were like targeted and victims of like a heinous terrorist act. They were like depersonified, and their religion was kind of thrown off. People were thrown off the scent a little bit with this Easter worshiper thing. Like, oh yeah, people in Sri Lanka, they worship Easter.
Well, do I dare go there here? No, not yet. I'm not going to go there. That's a little over the top. I don't want to get thrown off here just yet.
November 1 Whiskey Charlie Whiskey, 2 minutes after.
And 3 or more.
KC1RS. No, they are bound and determined, Mark, to eliminate one religion at a time. I guess they picked Christianity to go first.
Oh, someone has picked Christianity to go first. But who that person really is behind the mask, that's the interesting question. And Christianity, it may seem like it's being the first to go, but trust me, they're all going to go very shortly.
How you figure?
Oh, stay tuned.
Oh, I'm staying tuned. I want to know how they're going to go in my mind and tell me that I can't believe in something.
Well, they've
You
already
fascist.
done that to you in countless decades.
They haven't been doing nothing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing at all. I know I have a right and I have a choice. And there's not going to be any fascist dictatorship telling me what I can and cannot do.
You
Period.
have a right and a left.
Over my dead body.
Exactly, over my cold, dead hand.
I knew you wanted to hear that, didn't you, Mark?
Yep, I got my gun in one hand and my Bible in the other.
Thump, thump, thump.
I'm not quite sure what the gun and the Bible have in common, but...
Well, you're a former president there that everybody thinks is a demigod. He was at a fundraiser and he said that he referred to Republicans and people in the Midwest as those people that just didn't want to give up their guns and their Bibles.
Well, like I said, there can only be one Ra. So until you get rid of the real one, you can't be one yourself.
I didn't think he was a god.
The Messiah. The Obama Messiah. The crease in his pants. He was such a sharp, articulate African-American. Except he wasn't an African-American.
You freaking Oreo jive talker.
Yeah, it's just like Hitler really wasn't, what he said he was either.
He was an evil man.
Yes, he was. But he was half Jewish.
He was one of those gosh darn socialists, too.
Well, yeah, he was okay until he started burning people in ovens, then he might have got a little mixed up.
Sounds like the Democratic Party. Or, excuse me, the Divided Party.
Once again, pay no attention to the, what's going on at the party. Don't worry about the building that you're in's on fire. Just have another drink.
Political theater.
Indeed. There's a distraction for every type of man.
Who's the station that's way, way, way down there? Who is it? Where's all the supposedly big radios?
They're all here.
Well, speak for yourself.
Anybody under 6S units, I don't even know why you even acknowledge.
Well, if I hear somebody, I try and respond to them. It's a respectful thing to do. I know most people don't agree with that. There was a KB2 station, something. OHN. Was it KD2, like in Delta, or Bravo, as in B, Bravo, over? OHM, like Ohm? Okay, KD2, Oscar Hotel, Mexico. KD2, Ohm. Good evening. Name's Dennis, N1WCW, and we're located in Palmer, Massachusetts. Over. Okay, all right. Well, you're a little light here. A little light. What's your antenna? Over? Okay, on 80-meter dipole being pushed on 160. And what's the name? I didn't get it. November Echo something. I didn't get it. Okay, Neil. I got you, Neil. All right. Yeah, you're right there, right at the cusp for me anyways. But there's a couple other guys in here. Not sure if they're hearing you, but yeah, if you could do something with the antenna, get it a little bit longer, by all means, come back in here. You have a better signal anyways. Most of us are running a kilowatt anyways. Over? Okay, Neil. No problem. Yeah, get yourself a good full-size antenna if you could, and man, you'll come in here, you'll beat a bomb. Nice to meet you, KD2 OHM from N1WCW. Yes, sir.
I think if he comes back here in an hour or so, I think the band conditions might improve, but because he keeps getting better.
Yeah, are you hearing him?
He's right at my noise level, but just he kept improving towards the end there. He was getting more readable.
Understand, yeah. Yeah, I guess I've never had to try that. I never had to try to push a dipole, on 80 down on 160. I've pushed 160 on 60, but that was before I grew up.
Now it's a tough one because especially if it's coax fed, it's you're really beating it at that feed point. It's not good, especially if you're trying to power through it with like 600 or 800 watts.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I've only done that a couple times, but I don't have that issue anymore. But hey, I give them an E, an echo for effort.
No, absolutely. No, an hour from now, we'd probably be able to copy him a lot better, I bet. I think the band's getting better.
No, it's good. Maybe we'll be able to hear Ray. Oh, he's being a Limp Biscuit tonight.
Still daylight here.
Is it really?
Yep. You guys are all big into my radio.
Oh, boy.
It's threatening to rain here. I think it's supposed to rain tonight here. It's supposed to be rain for the rest of the week.
Yeah, that's what I got too, Russ. I think they were talking 8, 9 o'clock, something like that.
We're going to be in a rating pattern for a couple of days.
Now they're predicting a warmer than normal summer for New England, but they said it was supposed to be drier. We're not going to get drowned like last summer, which I wouldn't mind. I would like for things to dry out a little bit.
And that's funny because we're not even through spring yet.
Yeah, right. They can't quite get the weather right 3 or 4 days ahead, and they're worried about a couple months.
Oh, my gosh. We woke up here the other morning. I don't know what you guys had, especially Russ. You're probably a little bit closer but warmer than I was. I went outside the garage the other night, and it was 26 degrees when I left for work.
It's a little chilly.
Oh,
yeah,
it was a little nipply.
34. Two days in a row I got up and it was in the 30s. But that cold day it was 34 here. So, and I had just put some plants outside, and I'm thinking, I hope I don't wake up the frost. But they just made it.
Yeah, no frost down here anymore. We're getting ready to till the garden probably Saturday. I got most of the dirt from the mushroom pile there over into the garden. We're going to till that and let her sit for a week or so, and then we're going to start planting. We got blossoms that have come and gone. We got fruit out on the trees already, little itty-bitty pears.
You grow potatoes at all?
Yeah, I tried last year. They didn't do so great, but maybe again. Maybe I'll do it again this year.
You have... My dad, he's got an old school method that he got from my grandfather, and you got to plant potatoes by lunar cycles, and you need straw, and it's believe me, my dad every year we got he'd buy 50 or 60 pounds of seed potatoes, and we'd have 500 or 600 pound yield on those every year in, year out, for like maybe 4 or 5 rows, not even 100 foot.
Holy cow! What am I to do with all them potatoes?
Well, you store them. You don't let them freeze. You keep them out of the sun, and you keep them out of freezing, and they'll store for a long time.
I'm going to turn into an Irishman.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going upstairs. I'm going topside. You guys have a good night. We'll be listening. N1WCW.
You'll be asleep before you even get to listen.
Yeah, I got my little receiver up there. I can listen to you all night.
Oh, you do that too, huh?
Yep, it's the only one radio that is upstairs.
Yeah, I just got to get an extension from my microphone cable here that I can take it all the way over to my bed over there, and because I already have an extension speaker over there. Now all I need is take the microphone over there, because I could do the crossband thing, but that kind of sucks. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll catch you guys later. I'll try and get into tomorrow night. Maybe I'll be a little bit more serious. November 1 Whiskey
like
Charlie
the
Whiskey.
way you are.
All right, Dennis, 73 KC1RS. I use I've got a Bluetooth device. I plug into my headphone jack, and it transmits out the audio over Bluetooth. And then I've got a little Bluetooth earbud, and I can listen to this radio while I'm laying in bed.
Can you transmit on it?
Now, come on now. I imagine I could probably get some kind of remote control app for my phone or something to do it, but as I know that there are different people selling those remote control gizmos, but I can listen. But I've got all kinds of portable radios. I got Sonys and Texans and Sea Crane radios and stuff. I'm kind of like portable radios and fooling around with broadcast band DXing.
The one with a telescopic whip that's 5 foot long. The World Band radios.
Yeah, I got a lot of World Band radios. I can hear 1930. I can hear people that are local. Like I can generally hear Ray and Dennis and Dave, but everybody else's signals are a little rough. Randy comes in, but I have a hard time hearing anybody else. If you're not giving me like 30 or 40 over on this radio, I'm not going to hear you on my little portable radio with the whip antenna.
Yeah, just not enough capture on it. Yeah, I remember back before I got the general class and the advanced and all that, and all this other goodies here to get on the air. I had a Grundig. I think it was a Grundig. I think I had a Yacht Boy once, and I had a Samsung or Sanyo or one of them like that. It had a long telescopic whip, and I would tune in and listen to Rich and them down on 1850. That was years ago.
Yeah, I have a Yacht Boy. What is it? A YB 400 or whatever. I used to travel around with that one. That thing's beat to death, and I put quite a few 100,000 miles on that thing back. I used to travel around installing IBM equipment for like 9 years, and I carted that little Grundig around with me. I tried to. I had a 7600 or whatever Sony, and that quit on me. And I tried to take my 2010 around. It was just way too big. And so then I got that little Grundig, and that thing's got a gazillion miles on it. I retired it. It still works, but I just had to retire it.
Yeah, that was an expensive little radio when I got it. I think I forget exactly what I paid. That was like 20-some years ago, but it was over $100 and some for that thing. And man, I loved. I don't ever remember what happened to that.
Yeah, I've got a lot of radios here. I got GE Super radios and all kinds of stuff. Direction finding equipment from Raytheon and military rigs, all kinds of crazy stuff floating around here. None of it's of any value probably, but it keeps my mind occupied, so what the heck, it ain't hurting anybody.
Yeah, it just helps hold the house down. Just keeps piling up. In 3 or more.
KC1RS. Yeah, I'm surprised there aren't more people on tonight. I listen generally every night. I don't get on here, though, but I heard you guys in there yakking it up, so I thought I'd jump in and say hello, since you guys are a couple of the more friendly components of the net.
Whoa, wait a minute. When did I become friendly?
All right, you're just amiable. How's that? I'll back away from friendly.
Wow. I mean, right away you want to put me up on a pillar. I mean, there's already two here. We don't need a third. I get rid of my stainless steel antenna, and then all of a sudden I become a radio god.
I liked you when you had your stainless steel antenna, too. I just, I was just goofing on you while that was going on. You were not in any danger of being kicked off the net.
Nobody's kicking me off any net. I'll leave when I'm darn ready. And that other one, I was ready.
I've been kicked off of this net a couple of times by Randy, but for some reason he forgets, and I sneak back on.
Well, then my chances are pretty good of hanging out for a while. Yeah. Every now and then. Yeah, you just get tired of... I just got tired of hanging around a pile of crap, You can only fly around it so long, and eventually you turn into a maggot, and I was heading that direction, and I don't like being around people that are just depressing and miserable.
Yeah, I follow you there. That's a tough one. You need to... It's always better if you're around people that are a little more upbeat. Because I'll tell you, life is tough enough, and you need a little cheerleading once in a while.
Well, I don't mind if they're crazy. They could even be insane. They could just be flat wrong. But if they're depressing and miserable, I just can't tolerate them. I mean, all the other stuff I can deal with. I can just laugh at them and laugh with them or whatever. But, we work in nursing homes and hospitals a lot. I don't need to do it at night as well. Now there is a healthy carrier. Who might it be?
I don't know. He's strong enough to be Ray, unless he's messing around with a borrowed amplifier or something.
Just the two of us, baby, you and I.
Could be Dave.
KC3 KXB.
Hey, XB, good evening.
Evening.
Wow, my East-West beverage is working better tonight.
Why, you can hear me?
Oh, yeah. Normally it's the North-South beverage that's working better.
The other guy, is that Russ?
Yeah, hey, Tom. KC1RS.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How's that 7300 doing there for your neighbors? Is he getting on the air with it?
To him today.
Oh, we double. What was that?
I give it back to him today.
Well, what do you think of that radio?
I like it. I'm waiting to hear him on the air.
Yeah, you didn't sound as good as you sound on your 7600, though.
Yeah, for a microphone, I'm running that Electro Voice RE320, and on the other one there was ICOM mic. IC28, IC38 was one of them. I'll tell you, he has himself a nice rig, nice station.
Might that be the 101? Which radio are we talking about?
My neighbor, he got a 7600, he got a AL80B, got a
he got the matching speaker for the 7600. He got the Ascron RFM. He's got he bought himself that 901 2,000 watt meter. Oh, he went all out.
Wow, what'd that set him back?
About $4,500 or more.
Yeah, sounds about like that, yeah.
Yeah, he done good.
Yeah, that is pretty good for all that.
Now I'm waiting to hear him on the air. But he got an antenna like what I have. He don't have room for a wire. He's got that 10 to 80 meter Hustler BTV6. So he listens up here on 160, but I don't think he can get here.
Oh, he spent all that money on equipment and he didn't spend a dime on an antenna.
Oh, they don't give those 6 BTVs away. I got one.
Yeah, but they don't do 160.
No, they do not. But and they're very narrow on 80. Tom is. I had mine ground mounted, and I had like 16 radios on it. What's he doing with his?
He's going to do his, I think, with 20-foot radials under it, and it's ground mounted, the same as mine. And mine, I got four on the 80 meters. I got 4 on the 40 meters. I got 4 on the 30 meters, and 4 on the 20 meters, and 4 on the 10 meters. You know, the cut the length radials.
Yeah, I had like 16. I had more than that, but I cut through a couple of them, so they were kind of a waste. Because they were just under the surface. So I chewed them up with my lawnmower. But I think I had like 16 or 18 radios, and I had it ground mounted. I buried my. I was feeding it with RG213 underground. I had an 1.5 inch conduit running underground out to it, and then I had the choke on each end, and it worked all right. I mostly made contacts on the higher bands with it, but at the time I had a tower up with a Mosley CL33, so I was mostly using the Hustler for like 40 meters. I had a 40 meter dipole, but the vertical seemed to work a lot better.
Roger, it's a wonder you didn't have the 40 meter traps on your Mosley.
No, I was thinking about doing that, but I just didn't. That's an expensive modification, and those things are. I was thinking about doing the WARC modifications, and crying out loud, it cost $300, $400, $500 to put that on.
Roger. For the low bands here, I just run a wire.
Yeah, I just got I have a vertical here that I just put up, like a 50-foot vertical, but it's for receiving, and I'm experimenting with it. And then I've got and then I've just got my dipole, and I have gimmicks on it for 80 and 40, and then it tunes up on every band but 10.
I've never heard too much activity on it.
No, except if there's a contest, I'll hear a lot of people on 10, but it's rare. And when I was in Florida, I used to get a lot of activity on 10 from South America. I used to make a lot of contacts into Brazil and Argentina and stuff on 10.
Roger.
But I had that beam, so I was talking to Japan and Alaska, and
Cook Islands and stuff on 20 meters, 15 meters. Just, that thing just annihilated. It was, I had an amplifier, but I hardly ever had to use it with that thing.
All right, just looking at the sheet here for the local net. Tonight, Wednesday at 8 p.m. on 28.410 on the upper sideband, there's a novice tech net. Then on Sunday at 8 p.m. at 2900, upper sideband, is a Lake Erie emergency net.
Yeah, I had a net down in South Florida. We had a net on 28,880, we hardly ever had more than like 4 or 5 people on it at any given time, but pretty much every night, it was just a jaw-jacking, rag-chewing net like this one, and no name or anything, and you'd be surprised. Sometimes he'd be talking, and we had a guy come in from Arizona one time, and we're all running we're all local to each other. We're all running like 50 watts, 20 watts, and this guy comes in from Arizona and gives us all good signal reports. We thought he was making up.
Yeah, Roger, whereabouts in South Florida?
I lived in Broward County, west of Pompano Beach, in a town called Margate. It was near Coral Springs.
Okay. My wife's down there right now, her and her cousin and 2 neighborhood girlfriends that she grew up with. They're at Johns Pass, St. Pete area. They're right on the Gulf.
Yeah, I'm familiar with, I had a friend in Clearwater, and I worked up in Tampa from time to time under contract, so, but I used to I had a buddy that was, he lived in Largo for a while, and then he moved to Clearwater, and I had another friend in Ybor City, and it's nice up there. That's the part of Florida you probably want to go to, down around Fort Lauderdale, Miami. It's just too crazy.
Ybor City, that's a place you want to stay out of after dark.
Yeah, it's got a little rundown. It used to be kind of touristy because it was like kind of a Cuban Hispanic section, and they had all the cigar rolling shops and stuff there. But yeah, it's probably gone downhill.
Roger. I was 56 miles south and east of Tampa.
So you were like down around Arcadia?
I was 20 miles north of Arcadia.
Let's see, I worked out of Seffner a lot, but I think Seffner might be a little bit further north than that.
Yeah, what was the name of that?
Seffner?
I'm not familiar with it. I was 3 miles south of Wauchula, a place called Zolfo Springs.
I used to go to Arcadia. We used to go canoeing and kayaking up there on the Peace River, and I used to cut through there on my way across 70, driving over to see my friends over on the West Coast, and I used to work for, I don't know if you heard of Rooms to Go. I used to work out of their data center in Seffner. It was on I-4 east of Tampa, maybe about 20 miles, and it was just south of like Zephyr Hills and Homotosassa Springs. I don't know if you ever heard of that place or not.
Yeah, most certainly did. I was on 66. Take 17 down to 66, and that was a half mile to the east on 66.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind living up in that area. The wife's from Connecticut, so that's why we ended up here in Connecticut. My thoughts were, before we hatched this plan, was if we were going to tough it out, I was going to live in South Florida for a while. We're going to move down to because I worked for the University of Miami for several years, and I was going to work out of Miami rather than live up in Broward and commute. And then after I got out of there and retired, we were going to move up into like central Florida. But she had other ideas. She decided she wanted to be back up here in Connecticut, so here we are.
My wife's from Erie. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, I had close friends when I lived in Ohio. Our minister in our Presbyterian church, they were from Erie. Their names were Brewer, and Charles Brewer was his name, and his son George and I were pretty good friends in high school. And they're not around anymore, but they were from Erie. Those are the only people I ever knew from that neck of the woods.
Roger. I went to school with Gene Brewer. He has to be an old geezer now. He's got to be my age, about 68. That's if he's still alive.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any relations to Charles. Charles has passed away a long time ago, and he wasn't a spring chicken. I would say he'd probably be pushing 90 by now if he was still alive. So Gene maybe was a cousin of his or something. Who knows? But they ended up in southeastern Ohio. And when he retired, he stayed in Ohio, but they used to go up to visit relatives in Erie all the time.
Roger. He must be around Mark's age, then. What did you say, 98?
Well, let's see. If my dad would have lived, if he lived to 100, it would still be. He was born in 1922, so he would be 97. April 13th, he would have turned 97. So I think Charles was a couple years younger than him, but not by much. But I bet you Charles would have been like 90, 92 if he would have lived.
Roger, your dad was a year younger than mine.
Yeah, he was the youngest of 12. There were 9 that made it to adulthood, and he was the youngest of 12 babies, and I was his youngest. So I was that following generation's youngest kid. So my grandparents were born in the 1870s.
Yeah, mine was I think 1892 and 1898.
Hey, Mark, where'd you go? Oh, he must have had to run an errand, Tom. I hope we didn't bore him out of his trousers. KC1RS.
Yeah, I tried rattling him, but there was no response here. KC3 KXB. How come no Ray and Randy tonight?
I don't know. Maybe they're on strike. Maybe they're fed up. Maybe we haven't been behaving.
A little bit. I'm thinking about going and getting in the hot tub.
Hello, Toadman. Whiskey Golf 2 Echo.
Go ahead. It's all yours.
Hi, Tom, Russ, whomever. How's everything going tonight?
Good, good.
What's up, Carl? Just, Dennis and Mark were in there earlier and joined up. We've had a couple of light stations come rolling in and out, and I thought I heard Doc in there briefly, but I think he's just sitting on the side, probably thoroughly disgusted by what we talk about.
Oh, well, that's the way it goes. What's one's favorite may not be another's. Well, I was playing around today with my new oscilloscope that Randy gave me. Good Randy. I guess that's why he's the good Randy. So I've been having a good fun with that.
Well, what kind of scope is it? How many megahertz?
It's a Tektronix 465. It's 100 megahertz. Thing works really good.
Tech makes a good scope. I had a 454, which was 150 megahertz scope, and I used that thing to death. I mean, I bought it used, and I probably used it for about 20 years before it finally just died. And I've got I don't know what the heck I got now, BK Precision 100 meg scope. I hardly mess around with it anymore.
Yeah, well, I had one of those Fluke scope meters, the handheld ones. That was only 20 megahertz, but it was good enough for industrial things, working on generators and PLCs and stuff. But this one here is really nice, and then all the probes and everything, and on a nice little wheeled cart, and the thing works great. And then I've been watching some tutorials on YouTube and reading a book and everything, and trying to remember all the little tricks and things I used to know years ago.
Yeah, I used to use mine to do alignments and diagnostic work on radios, and then I used to build a lot of preamplifiers and loop amplifiers and things like that with like JFETs and dual gate MOSFETs and stuff like that. I built a lot of like weak signal amplification circuitry and stuff like that, experimenting around. And man, I tell you, you definitely need a scope if you're building amps from scratch.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll get back into a little more home brewing of things. But, geez, it's just what a wonderful piece of test gear, and I can't believe how nice he was to pass that on.
Yeah, absolutely. Count yourself lucky. If you're into fixing stuff and tinkering, a scope's a necessity in this hobby.
Yeah, well, I used a lot of them when we were building locomotives, and I was in the test department. We used it now and then and there, and then he had me head up a project testing traction inverters that we were making for Mitsubishi Electric for the Metro North and Long Island Railroad, and I had a couple of nice ones there. It was a TDS 420s, I think. It was a 200 megahertz scopes, 4-channel, digital, did all kinds of cool stuff. And we had a couple of those. And when they closed the place, some of us technical types, we were hoping that they might get into our hands somehow. I know one guy ended up getting one, but I sure would have liked one of those.
Yeah, when I was working on cars, a shop that I was working for, they got in some new diagnostic equipment, and I bought their old Snap-on automotive oscilloscope, and so it was a whole test set. It was a scope and a bunch of testing equipment, and there was like coil testers and things like that, and I had an exhaust gas analyzer, which was really cool. and I had that for many years. I made a lot of money with that equipment, and then somebody, I wasn't using it so much anymore. Somebody made me an offer for it, and I sold it. But I look back now, I should have hung on to that stuff.
Well, back in the 70s, I worked at a mobile station, and it was like a training station. They would have all the people that were opening up new stations or whatever would come down there and train and learn about all the mobile stuff and everything. And they had a pretty well-equipped thing, and they had one of those big old Sun ignition analyzers. So I got to sit in on a lot of the classes and learn how to run that, and you could put all the spark plugs up on there and see which ones were firing and which ones had to, were going up to high voltage before they fired. You could tell your weak cylinders, and it had the exhaust gas analyzer, and you could measure your voltage from point to point there through the battery cables and starter draw and all that. It was a pretty neat piece of equipment. WG2E.
KC1RS. Yeah, that's pretty much what I had, that capability there. And boy, I went through a lot of classes. I worked starting in my early 20s after I got out of the military. I worked for Volkswagen and Subaru. I worked for AMC Jeep and Renault. I worked for I worked at a BMW place for a while. I worked for Bosch. I worked for like a Bosch service center. And man, you want to talk about diagnostic equipment, man, that Bosch stuff was crazy. But I primarily focused on VW, and I went to over 40 Volkswagen factory schools during my career. And I was a master registered Volkswagen technician, and ASE master technician, and I had the advanced engine performance certifications and all that stuff. I had a blast doing that stuff, but it's tough on the body after a while. Even down south, it's hard work. So I kind of transitioned into computers, and that's where I'm at today, doing computer stuff.
Wow, sounds like you saw it all. Well, I used to work, I worked for the Clark dealer repairing forklifts for a couple of years while I was laid off from the steel mill. And they used to send us to those schools on new equipment and whatnot. And I found that stuff was really great. You could really, you really learn something quick in just a couple of days.
Yeah, that was the whole idea. I used to have to, I was in South Florida, and I used to have to drive to Jacksonville to go to class for Volkswagen, because that's where their schools were. And I drove, like I say, I drove back and forth to Jacksonville, I don't know, 25, 30 times. When I was up north, when I was in Ohio, I worked out of a dealership in West Virginia. I used to have to drive to Maryland, Lanham, Maryland, to go to school. And I made that trip quite a few times as well. I used to always wonder what it would be like to go to to go to a school where I don't have to drive 5 or 6 hours to get there. And finally, I worked for Mazda for a year, and the Mazda training center was only like 4 miles from my house. So I was a pretty happy camper there when they were sending me to school for Mazda.
Oh yeah, well a lot of the Clark stuff, they came to us. We'd had 6 or 8 mechanics that'd be in there, and the guy had set up his stuff, and we'd have a new piece of equipment there, and he'd show us all the stuff. So, that was kind of interesting. And I ran the engine shop there for rebuilding the engines for about a year. And they had some, I had to bore out the cylinders, and they had the machine for fitting the wrist pins, and used to do all the head and valve work and everything. And they had the hot tank and the cold tank, and that was kind of fun. We did Waukesha's and Continentals, Perkins, geez, just about everything. I had my hand in at one time or another.
That's very fulfilling work, is when you build a motor up from nothing. You get a long block in there, and you take that thing apart completely, and you go through it, and you put it back together, and fire it up, and it runs, and that's some satisfaction when, especially if you don't have any problems with it, And I've done complete. They don't do it anymore. I think they just send everything out to rebuilders. But I used to have to do valve jobs myself, doing like 3-angle cuts. VW has had special cutting tools for cutting valve seats and doing all kinds of stuff like that. Man, they taught us how we built the Vanagons had wet sleeve motors, horizontal 4s. They were wet sleeves. We did all kinds of crazy stuff to all those engines, and over time they just stopped teaching people how to actually, fix stuff, and we just became like glorified parts replacers. It was depressing. KC1RS.
Yeah, WG2E. When I rebuilt the engines for the forklift place, it was because they put a rebuilt engine in, and we get the old one back that gets fixed up and put back on the shelf. So all the ones I rebuilt, I never ran them. They just went onto a shelf somewhere, and every time one of them went out, I'd always be talking, is it still running? Is it still running? And I had never had one fail.
If you got all the gear and everything, it's nice to. I still got a lot of my tools. Like I still got the valve spring compressors and the. I could probably jig up and rebuild a water-cooled Volkswagen Rabbit head in my garage right now, if I had to. I got pretty much everything I would need. My valve grinding compound's probably dried out, so I'd have to get some fresh valve grinding compound. And I would imagine my, some of the stuff with suction cups on it, like for lapping, my valve lapping cups are probably hard as a rock, so I'd probably need to get a new set of those. But other than that, I got so many specialized tools, and Kuko embedded bearing race pullers, all kinds of crazy stuff. I spent a small fortune on this stuff, and I probably ought to put it out on eBay.
Yeah, I still got a pile of that stuff. I got the Zim valve grinder, reciprocating and progressive. You crank it and it goes back and forth while it's slowly turning around. I still got that, and a lot of special tools and things. Stuff like that little tool that's kind of a J-shaped thing for compressing the valves to change those discs in my Scirocco engine. I still got all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I got a cigar box full of shims. So if you ever need any, you just tell me what thickness you need, and I can send it to you.
Oh, that car's long gone. As a matter of fact, I sold it to Steve, KA2EXB, and he drove it for a couple years after I had it.
Did you have the pliers too, or did you just pop them out of there with compressed air?
Compressed air. Yeah, I rebuilt that whole engine too. Put it in by hand, laying underneath the car, putting it up in there. It didn't have a hoist or a chain or anything.
Oh yeah, I put them on. jack stands and dropped the motors out and laid them on their sides and drug them out from underneath. Oh yeah, I was a real, when in my younger days I was quite the shade tree mechanic. When I got older, when I was doing side work and stuff, I had a pretty well equipped garage with buddies of mine that I worked with. We were practically competitors with the dealership for work, but we kept it all under wraps. We made all that money on the side. I almost doubled my income for about 3 or 4 years running the shop like under wraps, so to speak. We didn't want anybody at the dealership to know that we weren't purposely taking any work off of them. We were kind of ethical about it, but we had more work than we could shake a stick at. I worked 7 days a week sometimes.
Yeah, I did that a little bit too, but working 2 jobs just kind of got to be a chore. So my thing is, if you can't make it on 40 hours, I don't want to do all the extra work. There'll be a G2E.
KC1RS. No, I did it because I was trying to get the money together to buy my house, and I worked my tailbone off for like 3 or 4 years, and then I was able to get the down payment going and everything, and got into my house. And after that, I kind of slowed down a little bit, especially after the baby came.
Yeah, I don't do much anymore. This house here, it's a raised ranch, and it's got the 1-car garage. It's barely big enough to park in, so I don't do much work anymore. My old house, I had a 22 by 28 garage, and that was room. At least you could open the doors of the car and wheel the jack around and stuff like that. But this one here, if I have to work in it, I will. But I don't do a lot of the stuff I used to.
Yeah, I do like basically scheduled maintenance stuff. Rotate the tires, change the oil, change the belt, fix things that the wife breaks in the interior of her little cars. Anything major, I'm not really, I'm very rarely. I actually tore into her dash. I had to rip the pedal cluster out of her little Kia and get the blower motor out for her one time. That's about as close to like making me feel like I was back on the job again, because man, I'm telling you, doing work up under the dash, you can't see nothing, and this body ain't the same body as the one that used to do real good at that kind of work.
Oh yeah, mine isn't either. I don't know. I just it's been over a year now. I've been retired, and I don't miss climbing all over that stuff and up and down stairs and hauling airlines and doing stuff like that anymore.
Yeah, you got to stand back and hand it over to younger people. So, speaking of younger people, Tom, are you still in there? Did we run you off?
No, I'm still here.
Tom's old school. He knows where we're coming from.
Absolutely. KC3.
Wow, it's like the whole net is on vacation tonight.
We're listening in 3 or more.
Hello, Mark.
I'm getting an education on how things used to be.
Okay, well, you would know how things used to be.
I'm 46.
Well, you should know how most everything used to be.
No, he's just a baby.
He's just a pup.
Used to be.
Mark, they always said if you can't run with the big dogs, you gotta stay on the porch with the puppies.
Yeah, but the puppies get more love.
You're right.
I'll be back shortly. WG2E.
All right, Carl.
WA2JID.
Go ahead, it's all yours.
Where's Randy tonight? This is WA2JID.
Neither Ray nor Randy have checked in yet tonight.
Boy, this is late. It's almost time for him to go to bed. How's my signal tonight? This is WA2JID, running about 400 watts.
I hear you. You're not super strong, but then again, I'm on my east-west beverage right now, so I have no idea where you are.
Yeah, okay. Binghamton, New York. Almost in Binghamton, New York, right on the New York-PA border.
You're doing all right over here. I'm about 15 miles east of New Haven, Connecticut. They're just up from the Sound. KC1RS. You give me like 20 over here.
You're doing okay here in Erie.
Yeah, okay, we'll leave it right there then. I could turn on the big amp. I got my solid-state amp on tonight. The 500-watt amp. Anyway, name here is Bernie. We're located in Bethel, New York, 10 miles west of Binghamton, New York. And we're running a Flex Radio 6300 and about 450 watts, maybe 500. I think it's bouncing up to about 500. Anyway, that's the story here. I was hoping to talk to Randy. I was going to run to Syracuse tomorrow, and I was going to meet up with him, so I can give him a call, I guess, on the cell phone. But anyway, I just wondered if he was in here tonight. Guess it sounds like he isn't. So I wonder what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know if they're getting any weather up there or not. There are some lightning crashes going on, but I don't know where they're at. Where I'm at, they could be all the way down in the Carolinas, but yeah, it's hard to tell. Normally those guys are in here just about every night.
Yeah, usually they're right in here until about 10.
Through his area
So we got an hour to go.
Looks
Maybe they'll pop in. Maybe there's something going on.
He might not
I
be
don't
on
know.
because of
Anyway, just came down the shack here and turned things on, and been a busy day. Trying to get lawns mowed. Oh my God! Yesterday I got the one at the house done. I went out to my got a half-acre lot out where I have a storage barn, and man, that was really tall. And it took me about 2 hours to do that with a rider, and it really was. I really didn't even do a very good job. I can't believe that it's so high so far, so soon. But anyway, this rain is really making the grass grow. And no, we're not having any bad weather up here. I'm probably 90 miles south of where Randy is, and we're not having any bad weather. I think we're going to get some rain later on tonight. Right now, it's fairly pleasant out. It was overcast most of the day today and a little bit windy, but not a real bad day. It's probably in the 50s right now.
It's raining here right now, and we set a record, 86 degrees today.
Yeah, I saw that on the news today. That's unbelievable. Erie, PA had 85 degrees or 86, you say. Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah, 86.
Well, that's crazy. It was, I think it got up to like 56 here today, and it's down in the 40s now.
Yeah, we have a front coming through, and from 86, it's probably in the 50s here now.
Yeah, we're supposed to get about 70 tomorrow. 70, 71, low 70s anyway tomorrow. And then tomorrow night we get more rain. So, and then I was looking at the long-range forecast. It looks like we got day after day after day of rain next week. But that's way out. It's hard to say. This weekend looks a little bit cool, but I think it's going to be fairly dry. So maybe I'll get some more lawn mowing done. It'll be time to do the lawn here at the house again. My next door neighbor mows his lawn every other day when it's growing like this. And he does it with a push mower. And he stops, and he pulls weeds, and he keeps going. Oh, it's crazy. I get on my lawn tractor and buzz it off.
I'll be back in a little bit.
Hello, radio. Whiskey Alpha 2, Juliet India Delta, WA2JID. Anybody else around who wants to jump in there? This is WA2JID.
Hi, Bernie. This is Carl, Whiskey Golf 2 Echo. I was in here a little bit, but I'm just going to get out of here right now. So just a quick hello and 73, WG2E.
Yeah, okay, WG2E. This is WA2JID. Well, have a good evening, Carl, and maybe we'll talk to you tomorrow night. This is WA2JID.
Okay, we'll see everybody later. WG2E.
Yellow 10. K1AA chain. Anybody hearing this voice? K1 Adam, Henry Adam. Listening. WT2E, KT2D.
This is KE3EG testing. Kilo Echo 3 Echo Golf. Anybody around? No radio. Kilo Echo 3 Echo Golf. KE3EG testing. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. This is Kilo Echo 3 Echo Golf testing. KE3G.
WA2JID. WA2JID, let's see, WA2JID, Whiskey Alpha 2, Juliet India Delta. Anybody around?